Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I have a guest on from our community that you do not want to miss coming up. So stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment.
Nobody wants to be stopped by a law enforcement officer.
Everyone wants to feel safe.
So we've trained our officers to first listen and then explain.
We ask if you have contact with one of our officers. You listen, give him an opportunity to explain, comply with his requests, and if there's a problem, contact us so that we can investigate your complaint.
Listen, explain, comply, then complain.
Our safety and yours matters.
Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with a young man that most of you may have seen on Chop Jr. My guest today is Mr. Zacchaeus Brooks. Zacchaeus, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, you know what, I must say, about 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to come out to Franklin Road Baptist Church.
Yes, sir.
You were there with Chef Jeff, and you guys were cooking.
Yes, sir.
And eating is something that
Yes,
I
sir.
love to do. And I understand that you do it very well.
Yes, sir.
But before we get into talking about your cooking and your career and your dreams and aspirations about being a chef, I want to learn a little bit about Zacchaeus, first of all, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Zacchaeus Brooks. I'm 13 years old and I attend Keller Middle School. And I started cooking when I was 7 years old. And basically from there, everything just started off. I'm just very thankful that God, gave me a talent where I didn't have to be like everyone in the world. I have so many, how do you say it? How do you put it? I have so many different types of curriculums in cooking, and it's just an honor to do it.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Well, I would like to sample all those curriculums in cooking that you have, okay?
Yes,
absolutely. But let me ask you, because Zacchaeus, what really impressed me when I was there a couple of weeks ago, you seem to have a very strong support system.
Yes, sir.
Your mother was there, your brother was there. Talk a little bit about your mom and your brother, your family support.
Well, I have a pretty big family, and something that I'm very happy about my family is that basically most of my family stays in the same area.
Okay.
My mom's side of the family, most of them stay in LaGrange and West Point in Alabama. And it's just the support is always amazing. My mom is my #1 supporter. She's the reason why I'm here today. And she's like my backbone. And my brother, Christian, he's just so supportive. Sometimes we argue and sometimes we fight, but he's always told me, if you dream big. And he just told me to never underestimate myself. And that's basically one reason why I'm here today.
Oh my goodness, that's an inspirational. And again, I know that there's other family members. Before we came on the show, you said that you got a lot of your inspiration by watching your mom and your grandmom, just kind of in the kitchen, watching over them and kind of picking up things. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Now, 8th grader. Talk about being an 8th grader and now having been on junior Chop. And you're getting ready to go back to school.
Yes, sir.
How exciting do you think that's going to be when you're free?
I'm very, very, very excited. In the past, I would usually be scared to go back to school, but going to the 8th grade is an honor. It's a privilege, and I'm just very excited about that. And my friends and my school and the teachers, they're also supportive. They've bought shirts from us. They opened the school to have the event there that we had last year when the show aired, and my friends are just very, very excited. It's like, can I get an autograph? Can I take a picture with you? And it's just an honor.
It is, isn't it? And to think at only 8th grader, 13 years of age, right? and doing all these various things. And you know, you have more talents that we hadn't talked about yet that I'm going to get to in just a moment. But in school there now, because you guys will be starting back, what's your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject in school is social studies.
Okay. What inspires you? What is it about that you like about social studies?
Well, what I love about social studies is that you can learn multiple things. Excuse me. You have so many different type of curriculums, like world history. You have domestic history. You have theology. It's just everything amazing. And one thing that I love about social studies is that I learn more about my culture and where I came from and how it all started.
Okay, very good. Very articulate young man as well. Let me ask you now, Zakir, because a little known fact, I think some of them may have seen it if they saw the show, Chop Jr. I also found out that in talking with you and your mom, that you also a youth minister. Talk about that.
Well, I actually became a youth minister when I was 10 years old. We call it MIT Minister in Training.
Okay.
And basically what that is teenagers and young adults and people my age, we are trained up into the way of the Lord, the word of the Lord, the work of the Lord. And I started speaking when I was 7, but I didn't actually become a MIT until I was 10 years old. And basically, I had a calling on my life. I remember ministers and preachers used to always tell me, because I danced, I'm on a dance team, and I sung, and it was just an amazing spirit. And whenever people told me that, I didn't know what it meant. But when I prayed, one day I prayed and I asked God, I said, what does that mean? And he showed it to me. And then I think the next week, that's when I went and I talked to my pastor. And from there, it's just been amazing. I mean, people think that working with God is easy, but you have to fight to be with the Lord.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, at such a young age, and your friends, your family, your classmates, and when they see that in you, do you think some of them think that you're a role model even at your young age?
Yes, there are a lot of people that look up to me, and some challenges that I face in school is certain people think that I'm gonna like tell, but I'm the type of person just to mind my own business. Like if it has nothing to do with me, I'm just not gonna concern it. But there's so many kids that look up to me. My friend Kiera Potts, she goes to my church, and you know, when everyone found out that I didn't win the show, she called and was like, "Oh my God, I'm crying." And her mom was like, "Just talk to her." And I was like, "Kiera," I was like, "What's wrong?" She said, "You didn't win the show." And I was like, "It's okay." I said, "There's many other opportunities out to me." And there's just so many kids that come up to me and be like, "I want to be like you when I get older." And I'm actually thinking about starting a workshop for kids that don't know what to do right now. If you want to cook, if you want to, you know, do different things. That's what I'm thinking about doing.
That's exciting. And you know, it would inspire me a moment ago. You said when your inspiration for cooking is that you didn't want to be like everybody else. And when you said that, most kids say you want to grow up and play football, basketball, or track, or whatever the case may be. But you were inspired by your mom and your grandmother to want to cook. Talk a little bit about being different, because being a youth minister, you basically kind of set yourself apart. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Well, to me, I think this generation feels that you have to be entitled to something. To me, I feel that we don't need any more basketball players. We don't need any more football players. We need more nurses, more doctors, and more culinary skills, because the end of days are near. And I just feel that we as a society just need to do more, and being different is an amazing thing, because you don't want to be like everybody else. You don't want to be like the world. You have to dare to be different.
Oh my goodness, you're right. I mean, it's such an inspiration, to you young people. And I understand that. And you guys, you attend Eagles Nest Cathedral there, and it seems like a wonderful foundation that you have. Our
pastor is Apostle Melvin Allen Cartwright, and First Lady Jacqueline Cartwright in West Point, Georgia.
In West Point,
yes, sir.
And then too, your mom is a great inspiration to you. Keeps you rooted and grounded.
Yes, sir.
Now let me ask you, because you're still a young man, and I want to get into your cooking skills and stuff like that in our next segment. Sometimes did mom have a little bit of difficulties with you?
Yes. I don't get in trouble a lot, but sometimes like it's the way that things come off as.
Okay.
Like being a teenager, like if she asked me to clean my room, I'd be like, okay, and like to me, I feel that she takes it off as me being smart, but I don't think it is that way, and that's the only thing that I just need to work on in my attitude sometimes.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
because
sir.
you're still a young man.
Yes, sir.
You're still a young man, and your brother, Christian, what's his age?
Christian? Brooks. He's actually going to be a senior this year.
Okay,
yes,
all
sir.
right. And sometimes y'all butt heads, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's brotherly love,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Okay. Well, you know, in talking about, you know, the influences in your life, we know that your mother's a great influence, your grandmother, your brothers, and your church family, and your friends and stuff like that. We also know that there's been other outside people that have helped you with your culinary skills and things like that. Let me ask you, because we're gonna take a short break here momentarily. Before you started working with, you know, people in the culinary, what were some of the things that you were preparing?
Some of the things that I were preparing were simple meals, like breakfast. I started out with eggs in the kitchen because I wanted to perfect that. Whenever I didn't do eggs right, I would always start over. My mom would constantly have to go to the grocery store and get eggs. And
when you start buying them, you're going to start perfecting it quicker, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. And I started out with scrambled eggs. And then I went from that to omelets. And I went from omelets to sunny side up. Then I went from sunny side up to poaching eggs and boiling eggs. And until I got all of that right, that's when I actually started breakfast. And then I went from breakfast to starting full course meals like spaghetti, chicken spaghetti, and that was when the 4th grade in 2014, that was when they had the first annual Future Chef thing in Tripp County. Okay. And that was when I won that, and that's how I met Chef Jeff.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you the question too, Zacchaeus, because you know so many times we see in the news, and our past first lady had the Place 360 and all the Get Fit, things of that nature. When we hear the media talk about our youth of today, they always equate them to being obese. You know, we consume more sugars than we should. What do you say as a young chef to our young people that may necessarily want to eat a little bit healthier?
Well, it's not that they are obese, it's just that they choose to go that route. I mean, you have a choice on what you want to eat. Some people just love desserts, like me. I love cinnamon rolls, I love donuts. I cook those all the time at home. But eating healthy, you just have to make sure that certain things you cut down on, like a little, like less salt, more organic things. Okay. Sometimes organic butter, whole milk, things like that. And it's just that this generation, we love sweets, we love chips, we love stuff like that.
Me too.
But some things that you have to look out for is the salt content they have in it, and sugar, like Kool-Aid and stuff like that. Kids love Kool-Aid. Yes. I've seen kids put the powdered Kool-Aid in their hand and lick it off, and I was like, wow.
You mean you don't do that, Zacchaeus?
I used to, but when they said it wasn't good for you, that's when I stopped doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Zacchaeus, you're such an entertaining guest. I tell you what, I'm going to take a quick break.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to come back. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of your cooking skills and how you've been influenced and what it was like to be on Chop Jr. in just a moment, okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure of being joined today on the show by Mr. Zacchaeus Brooke, who was on Chop Jr., an inspirational young man, and it's just a pleasure to sit down with you, Zacchaeus. We left off a moment ago and we were talking a little bit about, you know, some of your cooking skills. You perfecting the eggs, the scrambled egg, poached egg, things of that nature. Full course meals. Talk a little bit about one of your full course meals.
One of my full course meals, I make my own honey barbecue with apple cider coleslaw.
Oh man!
And I use Berkshire pork chops when I do that. A little bit of molasses, Worcestershire sauce, sugar, lemon juice. That's basically salt, pepper, and stuff like that. And then with the apple cider coleslaw, you know, you get your cabbages, your purple cabbages, whatever, you know, colors you like. Sugar, apple cider vinegar, a little bit of mayo, a little bit of relish, and that's basically it.
And just combine all the ingredients. Okay, all right. Now, which one have you perfected? I know you say you did the eggs, full course meal. So when you cook and prepare these are at home that mom, brother, grandmother, family members get opportunity. So what has been their, I guess, impressions of the meals?
Well, first off, they say that sometimes, like, it doesn't take long for me to cook, but I just like everything to be basically perfected. Okay. If you will say, I don't like things on plates touching each other.
Oh, so you one of those types? You don't want the food to touch?
No.
Oh, okay.
I like to have, like, I just don't like color. Like, that's one thing, plating. Even though I'm not in competition, when I'm plating food at home, oh, they get so mad. Oh, just fix the plate already.
They're ready to eat, right?
Sir.
They don't have all that presentation stuff. Right, okay. So let me ask you now, because mom's still cooking, right? Who's a better cook?
I would have
and don't forget, mom's in the audience.
I would have to say it. I'm a better cook.
You say that you're the better cook.
A lot of people. My brother says that.
Okay.
Both of my brothers say that.
Both of your brothers say that you better cook now. Because
my mom, I would have to give it to her for her fast. Like sometimes she comes off of work and just makes up a fast meal. Okay. Like, she makes the quickest spaghetti. She makes the quickest man with sloppy joe. She makes the quickest chicken alfredo. She's a very faster cook than I am. Okay, very good. So she got a few years of experience on you there a little bit. Let me ask you now, because you're going to be starting back to school. So when you come home from school, will you be cooking then, or will you kind of take a break? I'm in the Callaway Marching Band, 1MT, 1MT. Okay. And I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff this year. I'm in the broadcasting class. I'm going to be in student ambassador. I don't think I really have time to cook. So your plate's already going to be full, isn't it? Yes, sir. But right. if I have to, there's no doubt that I'll do it. Okay, all right. Because I know that, you know, it's like playing a musical instrument. If you don't use it, you lose it. Yes, sir. So, but I'm sure you won't lose yours. Well, basically, mine is mine. Yeah, my mom bought mine for me. Okay. It was kind of a gift. Okay. I didn't know she was getting it. Oh, really? Yeah, she said she had got me an instrument. I was like, very excited. Okay, very good. Now, I know that you've been on Chef Jeff's show. I found out during the break here that you've been on his show twice already, and I'm just now having you on my show, so we got to make sure we kind of balance that out there, okay? But Chef Jeff has been an influence in your life as well. Talk about your meeting. Well, like I said in the last segment, I met Chef Jeff in the 2014 Future Chef competition in Troup County, and he was one of the judges. And he always says this, but he said all the other kids' samples and food, he said it was good, but he said mine was just amazing. And I won that competition, and he gave me his card. And I think a few months later, I called and checked on him because my mom and my elders have always taught me to respect your elders. And I called up and checked on him, and that's when he told me, oh, you want to do a show with me? And I was like, are you serious? You want me to do a show with you? And that was like my first show ever, and I did that with him, and that was when I made my sandwich that I won from the last competition. And 2 weeks ago was the where I met you.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
sir.
right. And you know what? You guys, when I was there, you guys made the balsamic tomato.
Yes, sir.
Guess what I made this past weekend?
You made it?
I did. I took my, I noticed you was telling, you said you could take it up a notch if you want to put a little cheese on it. I put some blue cheese crumbs on mine.
Oh, you did?
And it was delicious.
Yes, sir.
I actually had a friend of mine that was there that didn't eat tomatoes, and then when I made it for him, he's like, man, this is good.
You really don't taste the tomato.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
I also forgot to mention that if you want it to be like more crispy, you can put it in the oven.
That's right.
for a
Yeah, you
little
did
bit.
mention
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah, I could put it in the oven for a few minutes.
It's kind of like a baked potato, but you're not cooking the tomato
That's
all
right.
the way.
That's right. But it was absolutely delicious. I had that with some other items and stuff, and I said that was, I'm glad I got a chance to
not
make
only
that.
there are a lot of people that don't eat tomatoes and stuff. You can make bowls, like fajita bowls. What you do is you carve the inside of the tomato out. You can use that to cook if you don't want to, and chicken, like beef, if you want to do that, like I have a little salsa bowl, you put that in it and have it all you want and just eat it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, like you say, it's something quick, because a lot of times now people want something that's, filling, that's
Yes, sir.
quick, that's, going to hold them over until the next meal, things of that nature. Zacchaeus, you have so much going on. You were talking about the things that you're going to be involved with in school,
Yes, sir.
your young ambassador, the marching band, all the various things. What do you see next for yourself?
Well, basically, I'm just focused on school right now.
Okay.
I have a trip, Georgia Studies tour, coming up for school, and that's basically my goal, is just finishing school. And like I said, whatever God has in store for me, whatever He leads me to, that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. It's such an amazing, young man. And I also understand that you're continuing to audition,
Yes,
because
sir.
you're going to continue to pursue your career as a chef. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Well, I auditioned for Master Chef Junior, Chef Gordon Ramsay, and I also, Chop Junior, they emailed us back and told us about the redemption round. And the redemption round, if you don't know that, it's for the people that made it to the final round like me and didn't win, like the second runner-up. You go back up there and you compete against other finalists that made it. And you basically have a second chance to win.
Got a second chance. So,
Yes, sir.
and you learn. Well, but let me ask you now, because you worked with Jeff. What were some of the things that you learned from him that you will use in your redemption show, you think?
I would my knife skills.
Okay.
When I went to Chop Junior last year, like the people that competed against, they were still doing this, and I was just julienne and everything, and Dyson, and I heard the judge was like, "Oh my God, is he cutting like that?" And it was just an honor. I would just basically my time consuming, because I struggle with that. People think. I don't think that it's really 30 minutes because it goes by so fast. Like it's like a what is it called, time watch.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I think it is. And also I would work on my time preparation with like my meats and stuff.
Okay.
Because us in the South, overcooked things really taste like regular things,
Right,
like
that's
fried
right.
chicken. But up north, they really can tell when it's overcooked and when it's undercooked. But
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And that's what always kind of impresses me about the young individuals that are on these shows. And I love to watch them too. I remember, like salmon is one of those meats that you don't have to cook it very, very long. I mean, a couple of seconds on each side.
See, salmon, that's the thing. A lot of people try to overcook it. And most of the time, you really don't need a lot of things to, savor salmon with. You can use salt, pepper, butter, rosemary, dill. Dill is an herb that a lot of people use in cooking fish. Dill is an amazing herb.
Okay, I
Yes,
learned
sir.
a new trick today.
Yes,
I'm going to
sir.
have to try that
Yes,
too.
sir.
Zacchaeus, again, such an outstanding young man. And this young man is right here from our community who's been on Chop Junior, will have an opportunity to go back to Chop Junior Redemption. And we know, again, you're already a winner.
Yes, sir.
And we know that you're going to really knock them out when you go
sir.
back, that's for sure. But let me ask you this question. If there was someone that was watching Zacchaeus and they say, you know what, I want to sow into that young man's life. And I know that your mother's here in the studio as well. I know that you all have a site set up where people can make donations. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Well, if someone made a donation, it would be a blessing to me. A lot of people think that by me being on the show that I'm all fancy and I have all the money, but I'm just an ordinary person as you. I don't classify myself as higher, nor I don't classify myself as lower than you. And well, you can make the donation at Charter Bank, and it would just be an honor to do that.
Absolutely. You know what? I don't think there's nothing more important than sowing into the life of a young person, especially a young person that has so much inspiration, so much leadership and support,
Yes,
and rooted and grounded in a foundation that, as you have stated, sky's the limit for you. Such a charismatic young man, a very articulate, smart young man. I didn't talk about grades because I know they are exceptions.
Yes,
I got to ask that question.
I am a straight A honors student and A and B honors student.
Oh my!
So yes, sir.
So just all well-rounded all around.
Well, I've always been one of the highest in my classes.
Okay, very good.
Through school, I just never thought it was like a requirement. I've always wanted to do my best, because if you had a chance to make a good grade, why not make a good grade?
That's right.
And something to my, friends out there and kids my age, it's not a lot. If you just pay attention in class and you listen and you take time out to study, that's all you need. I mean, sometimes it's hard to see kids my age fail, because you want them to do their best, you want them to do, but sometimes they don't have that support at home, and that's why I'm thinking about starting different type of organizations, tutoring classes for kids.
Absolutely, Zacchaeus. I mean, you know what? I know that when you do that, the phone's gonna ring off the hook. Everybody's gonna want to be around you, because your energy, your spirit is infectious.
Yes, sir.
And I know that you will definitely influence a lot of young people. And it would have been a pleasure for me to have you on the show today, and to come out and to meet you and your mom and your brother there. And we wish you nothing but the very best in all that you do. Thank you for being my guest today.
No problem.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week coming up in just a moment.
At LaGrange College, your journey toward achievement may take you in many different directions. The arts, law, ministry, medicine. Experience LaGrange College, one of the South's most affordable, highly ranked institutions, and leave transformed. Discover more at lagrange.edu/transform.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the City Week this week. My guests have been from our very own community, Mr. Zacchaeus Brook, who was on CHOP Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've been inspired by this young man. And by all means, if there's ever an opportunity that you can support him, do so by making a donation at Charter Banks. I'm sure he and his family will greatly appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed this interview. And as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.